Yesterday we looked at the worst cards of 2019, and today we're gonna take a look at the best cards released this year by Bushiroad. So join me as we're gonna talk about the best of the best cards released this year as we count down the top 10 strongest cards of 2019.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Before we start, let me clarify the rules and criteria as they are a bit different than my top grade units videos. For this list, I include any units, so Stride, Great Force and even Valkyrian are eligible for the list, but don't expect him to be on it. I also limit it to one card per clan and try to spread it out over different grades, otherwise half the list would be premium collection Stride units. Also, ranking is based on how much value the card provides to the clan, how good it was for standard, how good it was for premium, and has the card longevity to it for the future. Now that you know the rules, let's dive into the video. And to kick off this list, we start off with a Nubatama grade 3, and to be fair, you could put one of 3 units here. Jamiokungo and Hanzo are both candidates to put here as they hold a lot of value or power, especially in combination with what premium Nubatama has to offer. But this time I've chosen to give this spot to Stealth Beast Kokoshigaras. This card is a thorn in a lot of people's sides as it can generate an OTK out of nowhere. In standard, you can combine this card with Jamiokungo and Hanzo to rip their hands to shreds. And in premium, you can combine this card with the dominate units like Rina and Zanki to really screw with your opponent. And the annoying part is that there is practically no counterplay possible to not let them minus you, like there is no tomorrow. I know there are people that would say that Jamiokungo is the better card, but because he has the choice restriction put upon him and the fact that Kokoshigaras can work with more cards and has more future potential as it works as a rearguard, made me put him above Jamiokungo. For the number 9 spot, we once again go back to Nova Grappler, as this year the most impactful card for the clan is, in my opinion, Kick Typhoon. Novas did get a lot of amazing cards like Azure Dragon, Stylus Hustler, Grand Dragon and the like, but the problem with a lot of these cards are that they have an obvious life expectancy as they are specific boss units or work with a specific archetype. Kick has none of those restrictions. This card can and will be used in any type of deck, and on top of all that, it gives premium Novas the early game it needed to have a chance against other insane clans like Shadows, Neos and Golds. Novas might not be the strongest clan in either formats, but Kick Typhoon is one of the main reasons they are able to even compete and will allow Novas to once again rise to the top in the future. A thing that will be a pattern on this list is that most of these cards were the catalyst to an insane deck with the OTK potential, in either premium or standard. This is for example the case with our number 8 spot, as we have here Greed Shade. Yes, the Skull Dragon Megiddo OTK was already a thing and became faster with the introduction of the new Obadiah Stride and Kokaitis Grade 3, but the main issue the deck had was a consistent way to getting to your ultimate Stride discard. The main problem was instantly gone the moment we got Greed Shade. Also, it made the deck even faster, which was perfect, and that is just a practical application. The fact this toolbox card now exists will make Grand Blue all the more dangerous as it has some insane consistency that most clans could only dream of. Grade 3 and Stride boss units will come and go, but Greed Shade will be played till the day Grand Blue doesn't exist anymore or when we get something even better, which is pretty insane to think about. For number 7, we have the bane of every Axel deck or decks that really like their rearguards, as this spot goes towards Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragon. Gauntlet Buster is the reason that premium Narukami players think to themselves, do I even want to stride? This is a testament to the power of this card or to how weak Narukami strides actually are. I mean, if you watch my previous video. But that aside, this card gives Narukami an insane power tool that can be thrown in any deck, and if you went first and they don't have a PG or a lot of guard, you could win the game on the spot. Also the fact it allows Narukami to play a more aggressive playstyle as they can now use their grade 2s and grade 1 units for other things than just binding gives the clan so much more options and power, which is insane to think about. If only Fulgurate was half as decent as this card, we might have had a solid premium build on our hands. For one exoclan, we go to another one as we have Silverthorn Beast Tamer Dorian. I already expressed my praise and love for this card in the past Great Freeze video. The fact that it allows you to get the most value out of Yulukir in Standard is already a thing to noteworthy. But the fact this card allows you to get the most easiest and free pluses in Premium is just ridiculous. Who doesn't want to get free pluses for doing absolutely nothing? In some regard, this card was made for Premium. Expect that any legit Premium Pale Moon deck now and in the future is going to run this card at any quantity, especially if it's a Magia focused deck. For the halfway point, we start going in ban list territory, as these cards or the decks in which these cards operate are on everyone's wish list to get banned in one way or another. As for the number 5 spot, we have Blazing Lion Platina Azel. Yes, you could put any other noteworthy gold paddling unit from this year on the spot, like Ravenair or Spare Cross, but I decided on Platina as this card changed some things for premium gold, as now giving them a single counterblast could already be as deadly as with one counterblast they can superiorite into a full power Platina while you're still at grade 1, and they can unleash insane multi-attacks and kill you before you can even play your cards. This also allows them to empower their Spear Cross even more if they like to combine the two. But another thing is, this card sets himself apart from the rest is his impact on standard golds. This ability allowed golds to go beyond the normal limitation an Excel deck had, as no longer are they held back by control clans, as they can outtempo any deck that tries to show them otherwise. Just short of podium position, we have Dark Irregulars, Evil God, Pontiff, Gastille, Daimonas. The value, the potential, the power, and most important of all, the options this card has are through the roof. This card allows Dark Irregulars to get a second resurrections after the Assassin ban. Gastille is a card that will only get better the more support is released, as it gives this card even more options. The amount of crazy builds and OTKs this card make possible is too much to even count. The only reason this card isn't on the number 1 spot, even though the card is insanely strong, is because its main power mainly comes from one specific card. And most Dark Regulars have a fatal flaw that they can't overcome, and that is damage denying. The fact this card costs 1 counterblast before you actually do anything means you already need resources to only assemble your pieces. But it doesn't take away from its immense power. I mean, it's not for nothing it takes the 4th position for this year. Now entering the podium places, and on the 3rd position we have Chocolate Love Heart Liselot. This does look weird to have such an insane card Gastille behind a simple card like Liselot, but there are obvious reasons for that. Liselot is an insane card that gives you the freest pluses this game has ever seen, and the fact you can call her on turn 1 makes it all the more better. Hitting the melody grade 3 on turn 1 is such an insane tempo swing that you could win the game right there on the spot if such a thing happens and your opponent has no removal options. And the fact this card is completely generic means it will find its way in any deck. We have seen this card in all kinds of standard and premium lists, and will become even better once Crystal Melody drops next year. I mean, this card was given a choice restriction for a reason. For 2nd place, we have a card that is widely used in standard, but not so much in premium. But it is so impactful in that format that alone gives this card this spot. As for 2nd place, we have Fantasy Petal Storm Shirayuki. Shirayuki made Murakumo such a powerhouse, as they could not only block rewriting, which would shut down a lot of decks, they could now potentially block free attacks, which is such an insane value you could get out of a single card that is yet to be duplicated in Vanguard. But on top of that, this card could also be used in an offensive way. Yet again, something that hasn't been done before in Vanguard and afterwards. Also, her support card makes this card so consistent that it can be used in all types of deck as a standalone engine, because the engine is completely generic and independent. That all combined makes this such a powerful card, and now even with the new Hyuga support, we see her being used in full swing, and probably will happen again the moment Murakumo gets even more support. Before we go into the number 1 spot, let's talk about a couple of honorable mentions. First off, we have esteemed deity of abundant waters, Ichikishima. I couldn't put this card on the list because it became the very first banned card together with Ellie. But if I did, this card would probably make the list, and most notably the number 1 spot for that matters. And for obvious reasons, this card shutdowns almost any guard potential as most G-guards become vanillas, PGs are shut off, and any special type of guardian is also out of business. So you could only guard with your normal shield value. And if that wasn't enough, you would get insane power to each unit for each card in hand, and also your G-zone would now count towards your hand size, making it even more insane. This combined with strong attackers like the Oracle units, guard restrict cards like Silent Tom, and other cards that can stack the deck with crits, and you can see how this card is pretty nuts. This card could finish games, and 1 counterblast is all it actually needs to do so, unlike Gastille that needs a couple more to do so. Speaking of, the second card I want to highlight is No Life King Death Anchor. Yes, I know before you type in the comments, this card is from 2018, but this card had more impact on the meta environment this year than any other card released this year. First off, we had the whole OTK deck at the beginning of this year that made its way over from the end of 2018 that we saw getting hit, making DI almost unplayable for a while until we got Gastille and the whole extra support in Phantasmal Steed Restoration. The main reason DI has power in either standard and premium is because of NOK. Without NOK, Gastille and other cards like Master, Fifth, Hope on Damp and Variance Hard Leg wouldn't be where they are right now as they would be without him. So that's why I at least want to shine a light on this card, as it didn't did a top 10 for 2018, as that unit would probably make the number 1 spot, or at least top 3 because we had the whole Gizeh power creep and whatnot that year. The last honorable mention is not a single card, but rather a group of cards, as I want to mention the Melody Grade 3s, as I didn't give them credit in the best Grade 3 videos. But the reason for that was that the Melody units on their own aren't all that powerful. They need to be with other cards and with at least 3 to 4 to make an actual impact. But out of the Melody cards, Sonata is definitely one that holds the most value, and the main reason the deck is playable. Not only is she able to give the deck insane numbers, she allows to supply for her own ability, as she can search for other Melody units, making her a more self-providing unit. I mean, it's pretty obvious why they put the choice restriction on Sonata and Lieselot, as Lieselot is the strongest card for Bermuda, but Sonata is the strongest card for the Melody units. Now it's finally time to reveal what, in my opinion, is the best card of 2019, as for the number 1 spot of the strongest cards of 2019 goes to Untainted Holy Damsel Green Katrina. I mean, was this a surprise? It rarely happens that a single card can create an entire tier 1 deck overnight. Neonectar wasn't even a thing for more than a year and hadn't even seen the daylight of premium ever since the format was created. Then poof! Out of nowhere, this deck was competing with Ezel for the top position, even while Ezel also got support in this set. There are countless videos of people going crazy that this card didn't get some kind of ban or restriction just like Ichikishima, and for good reasons. This deck has almost no counterplay option and most of the value is free. The only thing you could hope for was that your deck could just survive long enough to go into your OTK or for them to run out of steam, as they had limited plant token generators. However, with the new Neonectar support, we saw even more free token generators, so that means this deck has even more ammo and consistency, and that is where the main power of Katrina lies, as she can just call any unit she likes, meaning just like Gastille, she'll only get better the more support comes out. As for those reasons, Katrina is, in my opinion, the strongest card released in 2019. Let's hope Premium Collection 2020 doesn't screw up in the same way they did with 2019. And there you have it. Making this list, as well as yesterday's list, was a hard, tough job, because not only weren't there many useless cards released this year, except for 2 specific sets, but there are also a lot and a bunch of strong cards released that are great in their own right. So I'm bound to miss one of your favorite cards. So let me know in the comments down below what you think should be on the list, or should at least be treated as one of the best cards of this year, as there were a lot. But with that said, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for making this video and everything happening on the channel possible. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or anything that's happening on the channel, then head over to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.